Morning.
Coming in off a victory over the Falcons over the weekend, put us a wrap on that and then get us set to go to Ball State, and a state that you're very familiar, having coached a long time in.
Yeah, we feel good about how we handled the bye week. Practiced a little bit more in terms of days than we had in the past. And guys responded to that. And then Saturday, we took the ball away, get to hear from Barry here, and didn't give it up. And that's always, the start of our plan. And, ended up being a good game, and we pulled it out in the end. And, it was a fun locker room, and we needed one. So it was a good day.
Andrew, you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. Looking back on Saturday, do you feel like that's the most complete this team played this year?
I think Coach Needham said it to the defense yesterday. I really liked what he said. It was better, but not our best. And I guess we're not saying best in terms of a past performance, but best in terms of, what we're capable of. Louisiana was a long time ago, but felt good about that day as well. So it was one of two top days, I would say.
Gotcha. And then, as you talked last week, I remember, is like the what the why is, and how it goes a lot deeper than football. How much do you feel like that's kind of just fueling this last few weeks? So, this is what we get together, like just kind of that, like, I don't want to use the word kumbaya, but like very much a coming together inward, and let's make these last three games something we remember fondly, like that kind of like why additionally.
Yeah, there's the individual whys, right? And we've got a 10-minute and 28-second audio, right, of guys sharing what those are, which is, pretty awesome to listen to. But outside of that, I don't know, we got a basketball hoop up, a small Nerf hoop up there, and, if guys are playing horse, you want to win. I don't really know how you turn that on and turn that off, right? There's always a major build up. You want to win the championship, and when that, no longer becomes feasible, right? There's some air that can be let out. I've been this way for a number of years now, and I talked to the seniors at length about this, but whatever our season goal is, being our best and going after our full potential always is the top goal. It's always the top goal. You can win and not play well. You can win a championship and not be at your best. Nothing really trumps being your best, right? And that never stops. And so I don't know. I think of Olympians. I don't know what the purest thing is or whatever, but there's some swimmers that spend however many hours in the pool, getting up at 4 a.m. for 4 years or 8 years or 12 years, to swim for 20 or 30 some seconds. And some know that they're probably not going to win a gold medal, right? But going after their PR, right? It brings people to tears, all that work. And I think that's the highest form of a goal that you can have. And so that doesn't dissipate, right? That doesn't go away when, the numbers say that you can't win a championship. So I know that seems philosophical, but I think that's truly what you go after.
That makes sense. And last one for me is I just want to get into what you've seen from Ball State, what you're kind of expecting out of them this weekend.
So they've got a very, very dynamic, very dangerous quarterback. who can throw it and who can run it. He's got over 400 rushing yards and over 1,000 passing yards, and he distributes the ball, throws it to to their slot, throws it outside as well, throws it to a tight end, and they've got a back who's up there and leading in receptions. And so a lot of QB +1 designed runs, and he makes things happen on his own, and he can throw it. So super dangerous. And then defensively, we've seen mostly one high all year. And they can get into that, but they're a little bit more of an open coverage and in even front, which we've seen both, but probably more even than odd. And they've got a defensive end who I believe is leading the country right now in sacks. Super dangerous, high motor, talented, plays super hard, kind of guy I love. And right, so those would be two of the top guys on either side of the ball that certainly have our full attention.
Thank you.
Yep.
Rubes?
Yeah, Coach, kind of circle back a little bit. You've always been a very self-reflective individual. I know that. You always self-critique. Looking back at this season, Coach, what have you learned about yourself and how you personally have handled adversity in really the new era of college football?
Yeah, season's not over, for sure, and so, I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm really convicted. Our team is as well that we want to play our best football in November, and we're off to a good start with that. Not our best, but better, and so there's still a lot of football left, and I love coaching. Our guys love playing, and these aren't throwaway weeks. I mean, this is where we get to coach and play. There's a long wait after this, right? And then in terms of how we've attacked, the new era, we're always, when I say that, right, I can't predict, 100 years from now, but we have and will continue to recruit high school football players. And then we've been very active in the portal on top of that as well. And so we feel really good about how we've done that, and we'll continue to do that. The rev share is something that we have opted into, and so from moving forward, we're going to be participating in the rev share, and I know that we're working hard to make sure that we're going to be competitive in that way. So I love the 4 or 5 year experience. I want guys to love it here and to not want to leave. I promise you that. And just think that the relationships and the experience here is worth something. And at the same time, we've definitely attacked the transfer portal. So, I don't know if that answers it, but that's what I would tell you.
Well, it's not throwaway for us either, because you listen to our blog, we are totally into that game. I mean, we're very much invested in your success of your team as well, because Tom and I, we live and die, and Greg, we all do each week with you as well, Coach.
Appreciate
And
that.
we know how much you put into it, and we're very proud to be part of this program. Talking about, though, I look at that game, and no kid, it was really a tale of two stories for me. The first half just seemed a little bit askew. I don't know, his throws are a little bit off, whether or not. And so many quarterbacks that happens to, they'll come out and really go belly up in the second half, where he did it. He actually flipped it and played much better. Did you see that the same way we did?
We did, yeah, we did. We talked about that yesterday, that just a little off, and every play could be something different, and had to move his feet. There was times where he was statistically, I think, we talked about this both yesterday and today as well. I think it was like 50% at half, but there were throwaways, right? And so, we're tops in the nation right now in fewest sacks. And so if you're into the statistics, you can look at it that way very positively and say, we're not giving up stats, we're not giving up sacks. But then when we're throwing the ball away, right, the completion percentage is going to be down. So you can look at it, positively or negatively. It's good football on his part, helping avoid sacks. And so I tell quarterbacks, I always have, and they look at me crazy until it's year 2, 3, and 4. But usually one of the best plays of a game for a quarterback is throwing the ball away. You don't want to have to do that often. But yeah, that's what I would tell you. But he has stayed and remained in himself. I mean, there's moments of frustration, all the way through. I love his demeanor. He's completely locked in and wants to play his best football here at the end, and believe he will.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Sacks are drive killers. I mean, you lose down and distance. Incomplete, you line up from the spot you just did. I want to talk a little bit of leadership on this team. Is anyone has really risen on either side of the ball that's become, not necessarily, I'm not a big vocal guy, I didn't respect guys necessarily because they yell a lot. But is there any guys you've seen really mature and people kind of gravitate toward them?
Yes is the answer, but I think this one has been more of a group project. I really do, and that's a good thing, right? And sometimes you need that one voice that, everyone is going to just, drop everything and listen to. And, I don't know if you've noticed as much, but 2 of our 3 captains on defense, haven't played, right? I mean, Jeff Adam, super vocal leader, and then Dramarian McNulty goes by Juice, he's been out for a long time. Mochin, was also hobbled. I mean, probably was more like himself for the first time this last Saturday. Not a real loud vocal guy. And then, on offense, Mickey on the offensive line is not loud or vocal at all, but everybody just respects the snot out of him. Noah was voted a captain and says what he needs to, definitely a leader. And then Tavi does, have a voice. He and Dante have been kind of the voice offensively. So I think it's a group project, but have guys risen, in their influence and feeling comfortable talking? Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Coach, your next win will be your 200th career win. Does that number mean anything to you other than you've been coaching for a while?
Yeah, I mean, Greg mentioned that after this last game. Yeah, I just, the little bit that I've thought about that, because I did when you said something, I just did last week from Ottawa University, where I first started out being a head coach. Our center, Jeremy Bell, asked me to do a sort of a surprise video for Jason Feeback. They're coaching together high school football right now for his 50th birthday. So our chapel speaker, down in Indianapolis, is Brock Graham, who's from Michigan, but, was played for us, at Wabash College. Our offensive coordinator, right, was our 4-year starter, at Drake University, right? And then we got guys, on the staff, get to work with Mike Glass every day, at Eastern Michigan. So it did make me, on the drive home, just think about all of the people, that are connected to all of those really fun days. You know what I mean? So it did. It made me just reflect a little bit and just so grateful for all the people that I've got to coach and work with. like it'll floor you when you really think about it. You know what I mean? I've had an unbelievable life, and I've had an unbelievable career. And in the middle of it all, you don't really think of it, but you know, when you know he mentioned that after that last game, man, on the drive home, I'm telling you, I kind of had a couple moments.
Well, Coach, in that same vein, Shaq Van is the receivers coach at Ball State. I
Yeah.
know you really enjoyed him as a player, and can you talk about him as a coach and the relationship you guys have had as one of the many you've had over the course of those many victories?
Yeah, so Shaq coached here too, so he
Yeah,
played and coached. So I remember my offer call. So Mike Hart, who's on our staff, right, and was on the previous staff when I took over, helped me in recruiting for those first couple of weeks, and talked about Shaq Van. And so I called Shaq when he was driving with his brother. I think they were in Pennsylvania on New Year's Eve, headed to New York City when I offered him. So that would have been in December of 2013. So, hi Shaq, Coach Creighton, and my family wasn't here yet, and he was driving. I had a long way to go, so we talked for a long time. And then I think we've, coached him and then coached together for like 8 years now. And then he went to Washington with Kalen and had that unbelievable season, and is now full-time at Ball State. So I love Shaq Van. Always have and always will. I think the world of him. Phenomenal human being, great football player, awesome teammate. And when I think about guys being coached by him, it makes me smile. Does. He's doing it for all the right reasons, and he's bright, super hardworking, fierce competitor, and you want people like him, influencing, impacting people as they're going through it. So I can't wait to see him.
You're heading down into Llewellyn family territory with
Yeah.
this road trip, and I know his dad was a star at Ball State. First of all, how did you keep him from Ball State and get him to Ypsilanti? And have you eaten at his Jamaican grill yet?
Well, rumor has it that there's going to be a truck there this weekend. So I have not had that yet, but his dad's great. He comes up here and surprises us every now and then, and watches a practice. And our battle was with Indiana, wasn't with Ball State, with Belu. And we're sure glad that he's here. He's having a great year. He wore number 0 last week, and he has been like a steadfast warrior on our defense.
Barry Manning's in the room. Could you talk about his interception before the half and what that did to thwart Bowling Green's momentum? So you guys, they were trying to get some points on the board.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, it's huge. I mean, our takeaways have come in those moments when you think about it, right? Have come like end of halves and end of games, which is, and sometimes deep in our own end, which have been huge stops. And I didn't get to see the festivities afterwards until the video, but it was fun to watch Barry climb the ladder and put the takeaway chain on. It's a huge play. Not only the time of the game thwarted their attempt to get any points at the end, it gave us a shot really to try to get into field goal range. But it was awesome because he had to make an amazing athletic. He's all twisted up and whatnot, to make that play. And it speaks towards his athleticism. He's got a great football mind. But then, he's been a safety for us, and we asked him to play lower and eventually to really play on right outside and in the box, and didn't bat an eye, and has really been a huge part of our defense. Always has been, but and that came, that wasn't something that we talked about in the off season. That happened, after the first couple games, and he's just done an awesome job.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Coach, Zach Mochan mentioned he felt more like himself on Saturday for the first time all season. Can you kind of describe seeing his journey back from injury firsthand and the impact he had on your defense being back at full strength?
Yeah, I had a good talk with him last night. He told me the same thing, in terms of just really felt like he was back for the first time, which is great. With injuries, everybody's body, handles it differently, reacts differently, each surgery and all that. And so, when they talk about knees and whatnot, right, it's like a 9 to 12 month timeline. And so what we do, and I'm sure every guy does too, it's like, okay, 9 months, when's that? You know what I mean? You want to know how quickly, right, is it possible that he's going to be, completely good, mentally, physically, emotionally. And it just doesn't always work out, to happen in 9 months. So, but he's also been a warrior. I mean, he's been cleared and able to go. It just hasn't been, fully back. Not that it hadn't healed, but just fully back where he's not thinking about it and labored by it in any way. So, yeah, can't wait to watch him, finish this out.
Your former offensive coordinator here, Caitlin has gone on to have great success at Washington, as you mentioned, and now at Alabama. What does it mean to have one of your former constituents go on to do such great things in the world of college football?
Yeah, everybody who knows him is pulling for him and super excited, proud. We've got a couple of guys on that staff. Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. He's taken over what most people would say highly improbable. That's the word that I would use, that other people would use, that would say, situation. And I don't know if there's a better person, on the planet to be in that role at this time, following a Coach Saban. I mean, Kalen knows who he is. He's got real humility and he's got real confidence. And I know that, those players, I don't know how different it is. I don't know Coach Saban. But and I know that they have to love him being their head coach. And it's been fun too, because after that first week, just watching him, I mean, there's just a fire, in his belly. And it seems like the team has certainly followed suit. So it's fun.
And then looking ahead to Ball State, they have an edge rusher, Nathan Voorhees, 11 sacks, 15 tackles for loss on the season. How do you plan to mitigate his impact, and what are some things you've seen from him on film so far?
Yeah, he's really good. He's having a fantastic year. So we're talking about that right now, and it's a huge compliment. Anytime, we're on a Monday morning, you've already been identified by the staff as somebody that is going to, be involved in the conversations about how we're game planning. I mean, he's a really good player, and he has, made huge impacts in more than just a couple of their games. So, and Gideon, number 4 for Bowling Green, different positions, but very similar in that just this awesome motor, right? So the ability and the talent to make people miss and, defeat blocks and to time things up and to see things. But then when you have the motor on top of it, it just, those kind of guys are a nightmare to play. And, we've talked about 44 in the same way as 4 from Bowling Green this morning.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Much appreciate your time this morning.
All right.
Very serious.
Barry Manning. Let's go.
Just kind of ask actually what you guys have seen out of Ball State as you're digging into prep.
Yeah, they're a great team at home, 4-0. And so I think it's a challenge for us this week, being that we don't have any wins on the road. And so it's a big challenge for us to go over there and get a win and, just finish the season out strong. on the road.
Definitely. And then the other one I wanted to ask is, I know we've talked with Coach recently and a couple guys about, like, you guys talked about your why over the bye week. So I just wanted to ask you if you're willing to share what your why is.
Yeah, so for me, my why was the just the 6-year-old me who wanted to who dreamed of playing footballs on Saturdays to just keep going, and how happy he would be to see me doing what I do now. So yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Rubes?
Well, Barry, I'm just kind of curious with your defense this year. It seems like there's been a lot of rotating, where as far as players being injured, a lot of movement in the secondary, a lot of movement of linebackers. How have you helped solidify all the different looks, the different 11 people that had to work together each Saturday?
It's always a next man up mentality. Guys go down, all the time around football, and it's a tough sport. But next man up, and for me specifically, I've always been around the box. So moving to linebacker, I don't think it really was a big challenge for me. But guys have been stepping up. We've had some good guys go down before the season and during the year. So we've put the pieces together, and I feel like we've been playing at our strongest ball to end the season, close the season out.
When you face a dual threat quarterback, I know we alluded to it a little bit earlier, you personally, when you come up on a guy that you know is a running cue, do you do anything different when you attack from your position?
I think I don't think you do anything differently. I think you treat him pretty much as a running back, honestly. Just try to get him down any way you can. Just they probably carry the ball a little bit more loosely. I think we use that to an advantage. Quarterbacks usually have bad ball security, so it's really not too much different techniques that you use on a shifty quarterback than you would a running back or a wide receiver.
You're from Stone Oak, Georgia, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you get this cold up there? Down there, rather?
Nah, it doesn't. But year 4, so I'm kind of used to it now. So it's
All right, well, we appreciate your effort. Great job this weekend. Hopefully we have another great game out of you come Saturday.
appreciate it.
Could you talk about the discussions the coaches had with you about moving up in the box and how you felt about that at first? That's a big move to step up and play that position.
Yeah, honestly, it wasn't no conversation. It's just they plugged me in there. But, I wouldn't say it was frustrating, but, I love playing safety. And it was always a dream of mine playing safety or, another position in college. But, I always want to be on the field. And any way I can contribute and be on the field to get the opportunity to make plays, and it's a blessing. So, I didn't take it and pout or anything like that. I just tried to learn as much as I can with the little time I had, and just kept it moving.
Weeks later of playing that position, how do you feel about it now?
Oh, I feel great. Honestly, you get to make plays, so you start to feel more open about it, as you go on, and that's what's been happening, honestly. And I've been getting more comfortable with the position. I feel like there's still a couple challenges I face, being that I'm still kind of a little small, weight-wise for the position. But I feel like I fill those challenges in with the way I play.
Has there been somebody in the linebacking core you kind of leaned on to have discussions about what it's like playing that close to the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, Zach Mochin, Bryce E. Luke, those guys helped me along the way. Just taught me about the line games and stuff like that, and all the things I need to know mentally before really I played, which was Kentucky, the first game that I moved. So they helped me. They really did help me along the way.
Have you been grabbing extra meals at the training table? Have you added weight over the course of the season?
I wouldn't say I have added weight. I've pretty much stayed around the same weight, like 205 range. Around about that area, but I think I'm pretty strong, so I think I can handle myself with those big boys.
Could you talk about the interception, and also, that was a difficult play, you kind of had to open up,
Yeah.
get it off your right shoulder. What did you see on that play, and how did you make it?
So basically, out of that set, Miami gave us that same look. I was a little bit behind the play. The quarterback didn't really throw it on target, but if he would have threw it on target, he would have caught it. So, and usually out of those sets where the tight ends on and the running backs on the same side, and they flared the running back out quick, it's usually like a corner. I expect a corner out of the tight end, so I kind of anticipated it. And so when I drove on it, I felt like I was in good position to look back for the football. And then when I noticed the football was behind me, I had to make a quick adjustment. And I feel like that wasn't no problem to me because, I played receiver in high school. So, yeah.
Feels good to have the Macoon around the neck?
Oh, yeah. It always feels good to have McCoon. Only wore it twice, but, I'm looking to make it, as much as I can these next 2 weeks. So,
All right, thank you, Barry.
appreciate it.
Barry, can you kind of speak to some of the intricacies behind the scenes into what's gotten into the defensive improvement over these past few weeks?
Well, I feel like we knew what type of defense we were before the season. It's just we weren't able to put it all together during the games. But, I feel like these last 2-3 weeks, we just been putting it together. We've been clicking. We've been real intentional to the little details, and we've been making it happen.
And then your thoughts heading into the last 2 games of your season. What are kind of some of the goals for you as an individual player and for the team as a whole?
For me, well, just to be a playmaker. You don't want to be an attaboy, you want to be a playmaker. And just so to keep making plays on the ball and continue to make plays. But for as a team, misery likes company. And so if we could, Ball State, what are they, 4-6, right? 5 and 6. So we want them at home right with us. So, that's our goal. Misery loves company. So we want them at home for Christmas too.